probably my favorite moment in life when she got to hold him for the first time. She had such an overwhelming calmness. I mean, just nothing else mattered in that world. She was so excited to see him and hold him. And after 9 months of just excitement and joy with him coming, to see that was so special. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that she got to hold him, and then I got to see them together.
Yeah.
And that we got to be a family, even though it was for a few hours here on earth, that we were in that moment.
Hey everybody, it's me, Shay. Welcome back to Grief Witnessed, where we remember, where we tell the stories, and where grief is allowed to exist without fixing it. This week, I'm joined by my friend Aaron here.
Hey.
Now, quick, really hilarious story about what happened about like 40 minutes ago. I got a knock at the door, and I had just finished a therapy session. You don't even know this. I had just finished a therapy session, and I was crying. And I have a babysitter. She came and got me. She's like, someone's at the door. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I wonder who's at the door to see me. And then I find out that Aaron is here. Well, Aaron flew here from Texas. Yeah, that's
Yes.
where you live, right?
Yeah.
And I had Aaron on my schedule for next Thursday, July 9th. Mm-hmm. Not today, which is July 2nd. So Aaron reached out to me over email, and we coordinated times, and the original date was July 9th. And then he's like, actually, let's do July 2nd. Well, I didn't switch that in my calendar. So I very quickly had to put the podcast room together, but we have Aaron here.
We're here. And we made it. And, you would never know otherwise.
I'm so glad because now everybody knows, and you had to endure me.
That's okay.
Panicking and putting everything together. And thank goodness I got ready today, because that probably, I think that's divine intervention. Thank you, Tanner. Because that was not probably in the plans to get ready today. So welcome.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm just grateful to be here, and I appreciate, just making this happen.
Yeah, I'm really glad to have you. Aaron reached out to me over email, probably a couple months ago, probably 6 weeks ish.
Yeah, probably.
And how did you find us? How did you find us on social media?
Yeah, actually, I've just kind of been reaching out, trying to connect with people. I lost my wife back in February, and we have a little boy now. And so navigating life through that and trying to find others to relate to. And I actually been able to connect with some other men who've walked through similar things. And I knew about this podcast. It just, you doom scroll on social media enough, and the algorithm does its job. Mm-hmm. And so this popped up, and then I saw someone I've gotten to connect with a little bit, Matt, I believe. Who's out in California. And so he's got a similar story, and I said, that's really cool. And just hearing him speak and talk about his wife and the legacy she has, and that's something that's been super important to me as I navigate this and try to figure out what's next in life with handling the grief. And one thing that I want to do is continue to honor Natalie and her legacy.
Yeah, I think telling her story is such a beautiful way to honor her, and a way to have your grief be heard. So I'm so grateful you reached out to me, and I hope this will help you connect with other widowers that are out there. It feels sometimes that we're the only ones, but there's unfortunately a good group of people in our situations. How old are you?
Yeah, 37.
37. Okay. So you were 37 when you were widowed.
Yes.
Okay.
And to your
Natalie?
point, she was 30. She had just turned 30 in December. Yeah. And it seemed like I was the only one for at the start of it. But as you get plugged into this group of people, unfortunately, you realize how many people are out there. And it's a sad journey and a hard journey, but it's been a great way to just connect with others and know that you're not alone and others are walking through.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful that you found our page and we're able to connect with some widowers. Tell me about you and Natalie. Like, how did you guys meet? The love story. I always want to know.
Yeah. We've known each other for a while. Her friend group knew my friend group. They were, we
like you grew up together?
No, we actually knew each other through church.
Oh, okay.
And so, we just had friend groups that kind of intermingled. And so I know who she was and, hung out with some of her friends. And, each year I like to host a big Christmas party and invite a bunch of people. And she showed up actually at a FOMO. All her friends came and she came late.
Okay.
And so she was on her way out and she came to say bye. And, we talked for, gosh, it seemed like probably 30 minutes. And I walked away from that conversation. I said, that's interesting. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was the following day, I actually slid into her DMs on Instagram.
Nice.
Which, people who know me, I'm like, don't DM girls to try to hit them up on social media.
Are you like introverted?
I'm not. I'm very extroverted.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So, but I'm just like, if you want to pursue a girl, have interest in a girl, just go talk to her.
Got it.
Don't slide into your DMs. Yeah. But I slid into her DMs and she responded and we chatted a little bit and then that switched over to text messaging and we did that for a few weeks. And I finally, the light bulb turned on and said, if you like texting her, you better ask her on a date or she's going to disappear.
Yeah.
And so I did. I said, hey, can we FaceTime? This was I think we were getting close to the holidays too. So scheduling was a little weird and we planned a date and the rest is history. We started dating and it was August of 2024. I proposed to her and then of 2023. We got married in 2024. We just celebrated 2 years.
Oh.
I proposed to her and then we got married March of 2024. And then we had always talked about, kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so we knew we wanted to spend at least a year just enjoying the marriage, travel and, do all the fun things. And so last summer we were like, okay, she's a school teacher. Let's plan around the school year. And if she can end the school year and just be done, with her parental leave and whatnot. And so we coordinated that. And, last July we found out we were pregnant. And so we were so excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a house of mostly boys in my family.
Got it.
I have 7 nephews, 2 brothers and a sister. And so we're boy heavy and I was excited for a boy.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, girls, it would have scared me a lot because it's not familiar. But we ended up finding out we had a boy. And so I was really ecstatic. I would have been happy with a girl.
Yeah,
too,
of course. Yeah.
And then just through the whole pregnancy, just had so much fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
We did all the things, your first child, we did all the fruits, we had all the books. We would sit down every Saturday morning and read through all the updates on what's happening with little Parker and what's new this week. So we really enjoyed it.
I love that. Natalie's loss was unexpected.
Yes.
Can you kind of walk us through what happened?
So it was Valentine's Day and we had a day planned and did a sweet gifts, flowers, chocolates, all the things.
Yeah.
And we went out to dinner that night and had Italian food, which was her favorite. And so, And so we had a great night and came back and we were getting ready for bed that night. And all of a sudden she got a sharp pain in her lower back. And so almost like a muscle spasm.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where she really wanted to call her doctor. And she's 9 months. Parker's due in a month.
Okay, so she's like...
So she's almost, what they consider full term.
Yeah.
We're on the brink of the 37-week mark. And I said, if you call your doctor, we might as well just go to the hospital because I would assume they would tell us to go anyways at this point. in the pregnancy. And so we went to the hospital just to be, cautious. And after, probably an hour or two, all of a sudden the placenta had abrupted.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what caused the emergency C-section.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean when the placenta?
So apparently it like detached from the wall.
Okay. Wow.
And we don't know what caused that.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that we may never know. And that's a really hard concept to grasp.
Yeah.
But she went for the C-section, and, coming out of that, there was some complications that had come about, which had caused some internal bleeding. And so over the span of that day, internally, her body was compensating for that. Externally, you would have never really have known. I mean, I didn't notice anything.
Yeah.
But I'm also not a medical professional, so I wouldn't have known to look out for anything. But that eventually her body declined rather quickly. And so she went back into surgery. They told us that they stabilized her and moved her to ICU.
Mm-hmm.
But then the bleeding kept continuing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a tough part.
Yeah.
To walk through and witness.
Like, did you know like how serious it was? I don't know if I would have known.
Yeah, I didn't. All I kept thinking was we're at the hospital.
Yeah.
Like we're at the hospital. Even after the C-section, nurses and doctors were coming in and saying it was good that you came to the hospital. And so we're at a safe place, right? You think you're in the hospital, best hands at work. And, unfortunately, she didn't make it that day.
Mm-hmm.
And so it never crossed my mind that that's what would happen. She was such a tough woman. And so, I was never really a thought.
So I'm a therapist, so I always ask the feeling, all the hard questions,
Mm-hmm.
but you can always say no. But like, do you remember how, like in that moment where you knew that she was like declining and you just had a son, and like, how were you feeling? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, for me, I really just, I've, whether this is good or bad, gotten good at suppressing emotions and sort of setting them aside.
Yeah.
So really during that day, it was just, I need to have as clear as mind as possible so I can communicate with people.
Yeah.
And that was really the bulk of my day. I didn't allow myself to really feel much. Didn't even allow myself to ask questions or think about questions or what's really going on. It was, I'm needed in this moment to be as level-headed as I possibly can be. And that was really where I wanted to stay.
Mm-hmm.
They did offer us time to go in and see her afterwards. So I kept pushing, hey, I want to go by myself to see her. Because her whole family's there, right? I'm there sharing the news with them. And then I just needed a moment to where I didn't feel like I needed to be on.
Yeah.
So walking into that room and just releasing all of that was good for me in that moment, but very, very hard. Yeah. And I don't even remember how long I was in that room for, but I remember just standing there. After, when we were in L&D room, she kept saying, just hold my hand. Will you stand here? Hold my hand. And of course, that was her comfort. Standing in that room in the ICU, all I could do was stand there, just hold her hand, and have that moment with her. And I look back and I'm glad that I did. And because even when we were doing her funeral service, it was just immediate family, and we allowed time to go see her for those who wanted. And again, all I wanted to do was just go hold her hand. Yeah. And so that was really the thing that, ironically enough, that brought her comfort. Us in that labor and delivery room brought me comfort from that point on.
Mm-hmm. Just holding her hand.
Just holding her hand.
Wow. That's the sudden losses. And this is a broken record for me now, but like sudden loss is just so, all the losses are hard, right? Mm-hmm. I experienced a slow loss. It was hard to watch Tanner slowly die. I can't put myself in the shoes of a sudden loss, because it's just like, right? Like I've prepared for Tanner's loss for 5 years. Mm-hmm. There's like no preparing for a sudden loss, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's really just a flip of a switch.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting journey. And it's funny enough, I sit here and say, I don't know that I could walk through the slow loss. Mm-hmm. Now experiencing the sudden loss. Mm-hmm. Not that I wish either on anybody ever. Yeah. But experiencing the sudden loss, I would say the same thing about your situation.
Yeah. 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 And then like being a new dad.
Yeah.
How in the hell have you navigated that? Like you have a 4-month-old at this point.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you the last 4 months?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. Thankfully, I have a great relationship with my in-laws.
Oh, good.
And so they moved in for several weeks to help. Yeah. And we're all journeying through the grief and that comes with this. But I would say up until the last little bit, the shock of it has started to really wear off enough to where we can feel more of the emotion. And that translating into raising a 4-month-old, it's been interesting. I mean, there's been a lot of times where, he comes first. And so a lot of times my grief is handled at the end of the night after he's in bed. Or, I did a quiet getaway several weeks ago to try to process some more of it now that the shock is sort of off. Yeah. And those are really the moments that have just allowed me to try to keep my mind in something of a healthier state and not just internalize it all. Mm-hmm. But there have been many moments where something's very triggering and I'm teary-eyed and just losing it, and then all of a sudden he wakes up from a nap and ready to feed, and you just clean yourself up and okay, I have to, I'm on. And so it's been obviously nothing I would have ever imagined. Yeah. And that alone is very tough, but he brings a lot of joy. Yeah. A lot of happiness. He is a happy little dude, and I talk to so many people that have babies and I'm like, you're an angel.
That's how I feel about Amy Lou. Yeah. Like Amy Lou she's just such a happy baby. She's not colicky, or she wasn't colicky. She's just happy. And I'm like, thank you, God, for giving me an easy baby during this time, because I needed sleep.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Parker, he's 4 months and been sleeping through the night for the last 6 weeks. And I'm like, that's incredible. Yeah. And it's not until I realize that when I talk to others, how lucky I have it. Because I'm like, to me, I'm a new dad. Yeah. This is normal.
Yeah.
And then I talk to other parents and I'm like, okay, this is not normal.
Yeah.
And you are such an angel child. Yeah. More ways than I would have ever imagined.
Yeah. I think we have our angel spouses there, just like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't ask when you were talking about like your love story. I didn't ask about Natalie, but what was Natalie like? Like, what did she? Oh yeah, you said she was a school teacher.
Yes. Yes.
What was she like?
Yeah, she was a school teacher. She taught 4th grade for many years, and then the last 3 or 4 years, she's taught 2nd grade now. And truly such a passion for her. You get her going about talking about making impact on these students and teaching these students, and she'll go on and on in such a passionate, loving way. And it was really sweet to watch. And, but she was, as an individual, just a very happy, joyful person. Her middle name was Joy. And so it's one of those where it's like, that's very fitting for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
She was joyful for herself. She was joyful for others. Just a very humble, quieter human being, where she never wanted to be in the limelight. She loved her friends, and she would do anything for her friends, and anyone who needed anything, she would drop what she was doing and just be there. And there's moments in our dating life where I was like, I love this woman because of that.
Oh.
And it's what really made me fall in love with her, was just her humility for herself to others, and just her desire to want to help other people. And just the impact that she made. I mean, I don't know that she realized the impact that she made. And it's because she cared so deeply for others, whether she knew them or not. And we got to see a good glimpse of that when she passed away. Just the amount of random strangers to us who had a story about Natalie, because Natalie had their kid with teaching and made such an impact on their student, or would talk about things that she done or her faith at the school, and it stood out to others who were interested in learning more, or helping out friends that just needed someone to talk to.
So it was February. So was she in the middle of a school year, or did you say she had taken a break?
Yeah, so she was in school. So she had planned to, the goal was to make it to spring break and not go back.
Yeah.
And so Parker was due, I believe it was March 15th. And so he was a month early, which that next week was her spring break. So if everything was perfect the way we wanted, it would have worked out well.
Yeah.
And then she was just going to take the parental leave for the rest of the year into summer.
Yeah. I remember, like, this is so random, but like when I was in second grade, we were on a break, and my teacher went in for a knee surgery, and she died in the surgery. And I, as a second grader, I remember being so sad. And so have you been able to talk? I mean, you probably didn't talk to the fourth graders, but I can just imagine that their teacher that they love, she doesn't come back from spring break, and that sucks.
Yeah, her school put on a little vigil for her, and so we got they gave an opportunity for some of the kids to speak.
Yeah.
And it was, some of it was humorous, because kids say the funniest things, especially around death, but it's also so sad to see, and just to see the love that they have. And we've had messages from prior students who are now in high school that have reached out and just talked about how much they loved her in fourth grade. And so it definitely is impactful, and it's been, I think that's one of the most interesting things I've seen, is how kids handle grief and death. And, I've seen it. I have many nephews, and watch them kind of experience and how they act, and then seeing her students and just how they react. I think that's a very interesting thing to witness.
Yeah, kids and grief, for sure. Faith seemed to be very important to the two of you.
Yeah.
How has your faith been affected by a sudden loss?
It's been an interesting journey. There's a lot of frustration and anger. And it's one of those where it's okay to be frustrated and angry. And I have to remind myself that God allows us to have that space to be frustrated and angry and wants us to talk to him about that. And, I've done that, and there have been times where I've yelled that at him, driving in the car. Yeah. I've also seen him moments later turn around and say, let me show you how much I love you. And so I sit in, today, I sit in a place in my faith where I know that he's with me, and I know that he's walking alongside me, and I know he's helping me and all of us journey through this loss. And he's there to hug us when we need a hug. He's there to love on us when we need love. He's there to pick us up when we just feel like we can't take another step. But it is hard at the same time to say, God, you're the best. You're so glorious. You're amazing. Because I don't feel that.
Yeah.
And I've kind of tried to sit in that and understand why that's so hard. I mean, and I say that everyone probably just went like, it makes sense why you don't think he's the best. You lost your wife.
Yeah.
But if we're told to praise him through even our darkest seasons, right? And throw a little bit of scripture in there, and I don't feel like that, then how do I get there? Is kind of my thought.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've come to realize is I need to redefine what praise and worship looks like.
Mm.
And maybe this is just me in my own head, but when I think praise and worship, I think, oh, we're, raising our hands maybe, or it's this good time, or, where we are in the mindset where we're happy and we're like, God, you're so great and you're so powerful and you're so mighty. You're doing great things in our life. But praising and worshiping God and praying to him, it's in the tears of being triggered. I turn to him in prayer.
Mm-hmm.
In the moments where I have fun in life, since Natalie's passing, and I get in the car and I just lose my mind, because how can I have fun in this life without her here? And I turn to God and I said, God, help me. Like, how can I have fun with her not here? And walking through moments like that, I think it's not this, that everything needs to be happy, everything needs to be good, but like part of our brokenness and when our spirits are just down, we still turn to him in prayer, and that is an act of worship.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm redefining what like praise and worship in this season means. And I still catch myself where I hear a song and maybe it's too happy for me, and I'll push next, and I just can't sit in that moment. But I keep wanting to turn to him.
I love that. And I admire you a lot for that, because I think sometimes people, and I've been here, you're angry and you don't want to turn to God. You're like pride or whatever you want to call it. And he's just like there waiting for you to just like waited.
Yeah. I mean, there are still many days where I'm angry.
Yeah.
There was a day where when I kind of snuck away, I kind of did a trip very low key to go process life and try to process this without distraction.
Yeah.
And when I did that, I was driving and it was rainy, grays for as far as you can see. And I was angry. I was yelling, why am I going through this? Have I not gone through enough in life? Why did this happen? The one thing I wanted was my child to have a mom and dad, growing up, and now that's gone. And then for it to be hours later where I'm driving to dinner. And I go, it was a vacation spot that we went to. And so I'm driving to the first place we went out to eat when we went a year ago. And I said, hey, I want to sit by the water because there was an opening in the clouds to have a sunset. And I said, if the sun sets and it's beautiful, I want to sit on the water and watch it. Just like we did a year prior. Yeah. And I'm waiting for the table. There's a wait at the restaurants and it's outdoor seating. Obviously, we're by the water. And they call me over and they seat me at the exact table that we sat at a year prior. Mm-hmm. And in the rainiest, grayest day, there's an opening over the water to watch one of the prettiest sunsets, which is one of the things that she loved most, even though I yelled at God hours beforehand to see him say, it's okay. And that I'm still here.
I'm aware of you. You're going to make me cry.
Yeah. I'm trying to not cry too. Yeah. But it's moments like that. And what I realized, I was so happy or peaceful in that moment because I knew that God was still there. Mm-hmm. And I went to drive to the airport that night to catch the flight. And I remember just crying the whole time. Because what I'd realized that we can be angry at God, but he's with us in all things. And as I live through life and continue to go through life, Natalie is with me in all things. And so it's okay to keep moving forward. And like, she's not forgotten. You can enjoy things in life. And God's going to find ways to work her into life. She's going to be there watching over us.
Oh, I love that. I think that's so beautiful. And I've seen that in the last year being without Tanner physically. I've experienced him many times spiritually. Mm-hmm. In the some of my hardest times with whether it's with my grief or just with something outside, just regular living as a person, just God is aware of me and he lets Tanner be there for me as well. So I love that. And I can feel like your very strong faith. I think I can feel it. And so I hope our listeners feel it as well, because I think everything you said is very beautiful. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I think that's what's most important in just grief.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine walking through this without knowing who God is.
Yeah.
To walk through faith. And, it's an interesting thing because before you walk through something like this, you can empathize, and people empathize with grief and try to imagine what it's like. And, but until you really experience it and understand it, or try to understand after you've walked through something like this, it is so different than anything you could walk through.
Absolutely.
And to do it on your own, I just can't imagine.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And whatever, I don't know, some kind of spiritual practice to have you connected to a higher power, I think is helpful in the moments of grief and loss. So thank you for sharing again.
Thank you.
Tell me, what does it look like to move forward with your love of Natalie through life?
I think I'm figuring that out.
Yeah.
You're
going to be figuring it out for a long time.
Yes. I think it will change a lot, over that long period of time. But I know right now, one of the most important things is I talked about this a little bit earlier, but her impact that she had here. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the hardest things that myself, family really struggle with, is someone who made such a loving impact on this world. Like, why did they have to go? And we sit and say it's just not fair of all people. Like, not that anyone deserves to ever walk through a sudden death death is inevitable, but hopefully everyone gets to live a long life and, and do well in this world. But, she made such a huge impact. And I don't know that she realized the impact that she had. And so it was a huge blessing to be able to see that. But one of the things that's been really important to me that I've come to understand is she doesn't have to be here to continue making an impact in the world.
Absolutely.
And so how do we go about carrying on her legacy? And that's what I want. I want her legacy to continue. And how do we impact people? And I know that if tables were turned, she would be constantly talking about her faith to others, you know, and wanting to just continue to lift up, you know, my name if tables were flipped. But I want to do the same for her. Is like, how can we impact her? You know, she was a teacher and she impacted so many students. And so, you know, at some point, I don't know what that looks like, but at some point, how do we impact students on something that she was passionate about? And, you know, teaching and teachers have such a hard job to do.
Oh my gosh, they do.
And do not get the praise and all that they deserve. But she was so intentional about her students. And so how do we take that and make something of that that can continue on? I mean, she touched the lives of so many students. And so again, she doesn't have to be here in order to continue making impact in students' lives and teachers' lives. And so, you know, going forward, how do I best represent her well to others? And then also to Parker.
Yeah.
You know, that is first and foremost, you know, ensuring he knows who his mom is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've been able to incorporate different things in our routine, in our daily routine, to ensure that he knows who his mom is. And I'm excited to, as he gets older and can communicate and understand more, that I get to share more of who she was, the happy, joyful mom that she was, and tell him how excited she was. You know, just for him. You know, that was one thing I didn't talk about earlier, was just the day of. Probably my favorite moment in life was when she got to hold him for the first time. And she had such an overwhelming calmness. I mean, just nothing else mattered in that world. She was so excited to see him and hold him. And after 9 months of just excitement and joy with him coming, to see that was so special. And I'm so glad that she got to hold him, and then I got to see them together.
Yeah.
And that we got to be a family, even though it was for a few hours here on earth, that we were, you know, we were in that moment. And so I want to, you know, continue to make sure he knows exactly who she was and the joy and love that came from her from the very first moments.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. And I think like continuing her impact can be done probably the most through Parker and raising him to be like her. Yeah. And raising Parker for and with Natalie. And I think, I have felt that Tanner's greatest legacy is Amy Lou, and me pouring my time and my energy into Amy Lou, and like everything else is second to that. But I had a thought, you know, for those listening, if you have ideas of how, because it's been 4 months, it's very recent. So you're still in the fog of things.
Very much so.
So if any of you guys that are listening, if you have ideas of things that have to do with like teacher and student and how he could continue Natalie's legacy and impact through those areas, comment below. So
yes,
for
please.
the ideas.
Yes, I've gotten, I stay in contact with some of her teacher friends still. And so that's helpful. But teaching is not my world. I've learned a lot in the several years that of our relationship of just the world of teaching and all the behind the curtains that most people would never know about. And so, but I'm not in that space and I have no idea what would be helpful, or impactful. So yes, please.
Teachers.
Please bring all your ideas.
To end this episode, are there any other memories you'd like to share of Natalie?
How much time do we have?
We got time. I always tell people you can share one, you can share many.
No, that definitely tops the list of her meeting Parker, and just holding him. Some favorite memories, definitely our wedding day. And so it was funny because we started our ceremony. We got married in March, and in Texas, things can turn on a dime.
Yeah. With the weather.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think we started the ceremony with about 90 degrees and we ended the ceremony with about 50 degrees. And so beforehand, all of our photos were sweating and afterwards we're shivering. And so that was a fun memory. And I remember that. And we were walking to the reception, or we're about to walk to the reception. And she just kept mentioning, she's like, "Are we done taking pictures yet?"
Oh, that's usually a guy thing to do.
It was so cold. We were not ready. And it had like torrential rain the entire day beforehand too. So it was like wet and muggy and just gross. But the day overall was fantastic. But that was a fun memory. She tells me this memory, actually. We were at church and there's a young adult ministry at our church that we both attended weekly. And I, being the extrovert that I am, would go around and basically try to say hi to as many people as I knew. And after, I think we'd just come back from the new year, and I apparently lingered long enough for one of her best friends to notice and said, "Aaron likes you." And she said, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, he never sits to stop and talk." And he was talking. And I said, and I didn't know this at the time. She's like, "Yeah, he's going to ask you out." And I did eventually. And so that was always a fun a memory that we got to share. Is like one of her best friends just foreshadowing that a little bit.
Called it.
She wasn't there. I mean, I knew in my head.
Yeah.
I had a plan. You create the master plan when you're dating and just hope it goes according to plan, which it never does. So that's a fun memory as well. And finding out that we were pregnant was really fun. We were in the midst of a lot of vacation travel. And so we were starting to try. And I remember leading up to finding out, she was hesitant. She's like, "All right, I just want to wait, make sure everything's going, like, all the signs are pointing to it. I'm pretty sure you're pregnant."
Yeah. Oh, and you just look so happy even.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure you're pregnant. Just take the test."
Yeah.
Like, just take it. And so we waited into like the window where it's like 99.9% accurate or whatnot. And, she was pregnant. Well, we were about to go to Mexico with some friends. And then we were coming back for just a couple of days and then going out to Colorado because we tried to go out there every summer. It's one of our favorite places to go. And we're like, my brother lives out there. We're going to have to tell him, we got to tell family. So we're like, okay, between Mexico and Colorado, we'll tell our family. And we'll just get gifts for everyone, and they'll think we got them souvenirs from Mexico, and they'll all be shook, which is exactly what we did. And so being able to tell each family member and seeing their reaction was so much fun. And just the reaction now, I mean, we laughed so hard at just all the different reactions. And I remember in Mexico, we were trying to figure out how we were going to spend all week with close friends and not tell them or like ruin that we know that we're pregnant.
Yeah.
And so I literally had conversations with some of the guys while sitting in a hot tub about pregnancy. They knew we were going to start trying and all this stuff. And
you're just like,
it was probably the most exhausting conversation I ever had because I had to be very intentional to not give anything away.
Yes.
And so each night we're like, oh my gosh, I had to do this or kind of fib about that. So we didn't spoil anything.
Yeah.
And so that was a really fun season and time. Mm-hmm. And so really enjoyed that.
I love that. I love that you have those memories.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Natalie, with us and for letting us witness your grief. It is an honor always to be able to witness something so vulnerable and precious as someone's grief. So thank you so much for being willing to share. Yeah.
Thanks for having me and allowing me to. It's been special.
Yeah.
And grief is an interesting journey in this life.
It is.
And so I hope that, those who have gone through it know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
And that there's people here. And even though we all grieve different and maybe we have different things we're grieving, it's very real and a very long journey.
Yeah. Yep. Your words are very wise. And I hope they help someone listening.
I hope so too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.